What's going on, gamers? Today I'm going to be talking about the thing that's holding almost every single Valorant player back, and that is their game sense. There are a couple things that you can start doing right now that will instantly help you improve your game sense, and I'm going to explain to you step by step how to do them. I'll quickly go over the basics of game sense, then I'm going to give you some in-depth things that you can start doing to improve past the basics and master your gameplay in Valorant. With that being said, let's get right into it. Now, I'm sure you've all seen a ton of guys covering game sense that talk about how to play numbers, which is essentially knowing when to push and when to play passively, depending on how many teammates you have alive, along with economy, knowing when to buy, when to save, and when to force, paying attention to yours and the enemy's alt economy so you can play around it, and also understanding the strong and weak side of the map. Lastly, awareness and knowing the callouts of every single map, which can be done by turning map region names on and always practicing your callouts in game. When you die, look at where you died from on the map and call it out to your team. And also, when you see someone on the map, do the same thing. If you consistently do this over time, you will begin to learn all the callouts on every single map, and your map awareness will improve as well. Remember that this comes with time and practice, so be patient and work towards it every single game. Now, knowing these basics is very important. However, just this isn't enough to master game sense and be able to play in the high elos properly. The first thing that you can do to bring your game sense to a higher level is learning how to reposition. Repositioning is one of the most underlooked aspects of Valorant. If you're holding the site, take a fight, or peek an angle and the enemy sees you, do not re-peek the same angle. This is 100% gonna get you killed. Instead, you can reposition slightly and swing out, or reposition and hold. If you peek the same way after you've been spotted, or you hold the same angle after the enemy seen you, you're going to die always. So make sure that you're repositioning after every single kill, when you see someone, or when you go to re-aggress in a fight. Doing this is going to throw the enemy's crosshair placement off and allow you to easily clutch up in situations or hold the site better. Remember that the more unpredictable you are, the harder you're going to be to kill, which is exactly how you want to be playing in a game that relies heavily on one-shot kills. And this leads me into my next tip. You need to be playing unpredictably. And what exactly do I mean by this? You can't be running the same play every single round or holding the same angle. For example, if you're on attack and your team is pushing A and you're going through mid, do not do the same thing next round. Instead, push with your team or late lurk through B. Then the next round, switch it again. And if your team just wants to full push all the time, then slow down your push one round, speed up the next, or hold for the enemy to push you. Even the smallest changes in your gameplay can completely throw the enemy team off guard. Keep in mind that the enemies are going to be looking for patterns in the way that you are playing. And if they find it, they're going to exploit it and take advantage of your predictability. So never do the same thing twice. And the same goes for when you're on defense. If you usually play mid and push up for an early fight in a certain area, next round play a different off angle and hold for them to push you. Or don't show presence the first 10 seconds, wait for the enemy to think the coast is clear, and then swing out and kill them. And if you're playing a sentinel, do not do the same setup every single round on the same site. Switch sites, switch your setup. These little changes can go a long way. As you get better at this, you can switch in and out of plays and use your utility and weapon choices to really mess with people. Always play to throw off the enemy team, and you will be extremely annoying to play against and a mile ahead of everybody else on the map. With that being said, you yourself should be looking for patterns in the enemy's gameplay. If they like to lurk every single round, be ready for it and hold for it. Whenever you see someone doing the same thing over and over again, exploit it and use it against them. This is what separates good players from okay players. The ability to read the enemies and counter them. And the more that you begin to analyze what everyone is doing, the better you're going to become at this. So instead of just brainlessly playing the game, pay attention to everything that's going on, and once you spot something, communicate it with your team, come up with a plan to counter it, and execute on that plan. Keep in mind, if the enemy team is playing unpredictably, think about what you would do if you were them and you were trying to throw your team off guard, given what you've seen so far, and prepare for it. If you do this correctly, it's going to begin to seem like you have wall hacks or you were just a knower, which is essentially someone who always knows what the enemy is doing. If you continue to play unpredictably yourself and analyze everything that's going on in the enemy team's gameplay, you will quickly be able to put yourself in the enemy's shoes and be elo to read them. Developing this skill will take some time, but if you do this every single game, your game sense will improve rapidly and you'll be thinking like a high ranked player no matter what elo that you are currently in. Now, I bet you're thinking all this information is fine and dandy, But how do you actually get ahead of everyone else? There are two things that you can do to make yourself stand out from other players. Number one is VOD reviewing your own games. Now, I know it sounds tedious and boring, but you don't have to do it all the time. Review one game a day or even one game every couple of days. When you do this, critically analyze how you were playing. Look at what you did right when you went around, your positioning, your callouts, your aim, your weapon choices, your map awareness, everything. And when you do this, explain to yourself why you did it correctly. And the same goes for the opposite. When you make a bad play, explain to yourself what you did wrong and what you should have done instead. By reviewing your own gameplay, you can quickly pick up your own bad habits and begin to fix them. These will be different for everyone, but once you identify what it is that's causing you to lose, you can start working on it religiously until you fix it. Remember, it's very hard for you to spot your mistakes mid-game because you're too worried about playing and winning. However, when you look at it afterwards, when you have no stressors and nothing else distracting you, you'll begin to see everything that you're actually doing wrong and be able to fix it. Also, I would highly suggest that you try to do this later at night, right before you go to sleep, and you write down everything that you're seeing and noticing so that you can learn it and memorize it properly. This is very important as we tend to internalize and shift things into our long-term memory if we start to learn about it closer to bedtime and we're not doing anything directly related to the task right after learning about it. If you do this consistently, you will begin to subconsciously know exactly what the right or wrong play would be given whatever situation you find yourself in when you're playing Valorant. But quickly, before I give you the last and most unique tip of them all, who's your least favorite Asian to play against in Valorant? Mine's Kale. Let me know in the comments down below. The last thing that you can do to save some time and improve your game sense is start using the time when you're dead to your advantage. Now, I know it sucks when you die, and you might be mauling about the brain dead chimp that just killed you while full sprinting across the map. However, doing this isn't going to help anything. Instead, calm down and start watching what your teammates are doing. Look at how they are playing and think about what you would do if you were in their situation. Now, if what they did worked and you thought they should have done something else, learn from it. And if what they did didn't work, learn from that as well and think about what they could have done to win the round. You can also pay attention to what the enemy team is doing and why they won or lost the round. By doing this, you are maximizing your time in game instead of wasting it by mindlessly watching your teammates or mauling because you're dead. Keep in mind that good game sense isn't something that you get overnight. It comes from repeatedly learning and using every single opportunity you have to your advantage. So go into every single game and VOD review with the mentality that you don't know as much as you think you do and that you can always learn more, and be willing to accept your mistakes and correct them. If you start to do this, you will quickly learn what to do and what not to do given any situation you are in, and you'll master every aspect of game sense in Valorant. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you got any value out of this video or you want to see videos like this in the future, feel free to hit that like button, sub to the channel, and ring that bell notification so that you can stay ahead of every other gamer and unlock your full potential. Much love, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.